Welcome back to part 7. I didn't have a title for this part, so I just named it what I named it. I don't even know if the final name is going to be to what's on the thumbnail, but I had a crazy experience this morning while shooting these. I shot episode 6, and then I just stopped. And I took a minute to meditate and reflect on some stuff and write in my journal. Whew. Wild experience during that meditation. I want to talk about that first. Show you more examples of how we're really dealing with ourselves in multiple layers. So let's get it. Absolutely nutty meditation. Once again, while I'm making this series, I love it. It's exactly what I needed for one of these videos. It's exactly the material I needed. I always feel like an artist because I'm a dancer, but I feel like an artist just for purely being here, man, painting the picture of my consciousness. It's so weird when I think about it because immediately I want to say your consciousness because we're all one in essence, but your journey is still your own, so it's not going to look like mine. But essentially, this is you just speaking to you in a way. But yeah, listen to this, right? I go into a meditation and I'm listening to my favorite man. I think his first name's Martin, the handpan guy on YouTube. I throw him on. I lean the chair all the way back, and while I'm laying there, I start doom scrolling. You know, I get my scroll on. I like to go on Instagram for a moment between videos when I'm shooting to take a little bit of a break and you just allow myself to not be absolutely in go mode all the time. You know, I focus for a good, I don't know, the 6. I just seen a video. I love my algorithm. I seen a video that popped up in my algorithm that talked about a Japanese work philosophy, or it could have been a different culture, where you work for 25 minutes, completely focus, and then rest for 5 minutes and then go back again for 25. I don't remember what it's called, but it's funny because that video I shot was, I said to myself when I seen the video yesterday that, wow, I feel like I already naturally do this, which is kind of funny, which is again where it's like, when you go within, you kind of find all the information and you need to create courses or provide value to people out in life because maybe someone has a certain way of working out or a certain way of, you know, carpentry or architecture or something in the chef field that helps somebody. And it's just something that they naturally do that someone finds cool, and then they end up providing that value to other people of the skills they learn. But it's funny that somebody made that up of like part of this, I guess, work thing if you're prone to burning out. But so I took a minute to scroll, and I was scrolling through Instagram. I seen that woman who cooks large amounts of food and like puts the video of somebody wasting food in the beginning and then like her making a whole bunch of food. I had a funny comment on that, but so after watching that video, I said to myself, I put the phone down and I was like, all right, got my memes for the morning. I said, time for my meditation. And I said to myself, I wonder what I really do need to unpack for things to like start manifesting like how it was in Texas. Because in Texas, it was a very lovely balance of how things felt. The reality felt just trippy enough to be able to still be able to walk. And I said, you know what? Now that I'm back here, I need to tap right back into what I did to get out the first time. No playing around, because I'm already hip and aware to all of this stuff that's happening around me. So let's get it. So I went into this meditation and I said, this meditation is purely on what I need to shed, what more I need to shed or anything like that. It's still on the topic of introspection. So I said, show me show me. Let's not play no games. I'm going to lay back here, get my hands in a position, which they were honestly just at my side, so let me not hype it. And I put my hands to my side, and I just start to silence them. My mind is already silent, so usually when I meditate, it doesn't really feel like there's any of a difference besides what ends up coming next, which is like hopping to other realms. So I lay back, I just, chilling, kind of just sitting with my thoughts, seeing images, and then I fall asleep. Here's the interesting about falling asleep is this time I brought my conscious mind with me because the music was my focus. So I kept hearing the hand pan video in the background throughout all of the dreams, which made me aware. Like no matter where I was in the dream, it was almost like what's the movie? With what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio, where they're going inside the dreams. Inception. I don't know if it's Inception. I don't want to say Inception, but the one where they were in a dream inside a dream inside a dream. But so I started to hear the hand pan in the background of every layer of the dream I was in. I was like, ooh, very interesting. But I fall asleep and I meet the girl I was watching, which goes to show you again, the things you watch before bed or the things that you take those into if you let them, they seep into your subconscious. But I remember watching her videos saying like, man, I like watching her videos because I feel this. Like I feel this. I would love to be doing this, I think is what I would say, or giving back on this scale. And then something immediately told me, like, you're doing it in a different way through the value of what you say in your videos, and your videos are reaching the right people, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow, that was beautiful. And I said, I guess I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I ended up meeting her on the astral plane or something that took her form. And I was in this apartment, which is wild, but I was in this apartment and there's two people and they very, very interesting. But I was sitting with her on the couch and she told me that they didn't like the fact that she was staying in this place. And I was like, I wonder why. And they had an issue with her staying in this place. And I didn't really understand why, but I remember feeling like I was like, well, if you're going to kick her out, then you have to kick me out because I don't know. It was like kind of this unity, but then the dude didn't want to kick me out. He said, you have a very specific reason for being here, something like that. It was very hazy, but I was like, what? I was like, confused. And then I was like this. So this is what made the dream so dope is she ends up telling me, it's okay, I'll just leave. We're never like us in spirit. We're never far apart. I was like, okay, you're good. It's because this is the funny thing that always happens with me when I go to the astral plane. Before I'm lucid, I don't realize for a couple minutes. And then when I realize, this next part happens. So I tell the guy, well, like, I thought you believed in whatever. I was like, like something. I don't know. We got on this whole topic of belief. And dude starts, chanting the Bible and things like that. And I'm like laughing because I'm like, does that really even mean anything to you if you don't embody it? I was like, I'll respect and honor what you're saying, but I mean, it sounds like you're having a meltdown more than accepting the word of God. So I start laughing in the dream, and his wife pulls me into the bathroom, and this is the most insane thing. His wife or his partner or something. It could just be roommates, but that's just what it felt like. I'm going off of feeling. And I remember pulling out my phone And she said, "Where are you going?" And I looked in the mirror and I said, "You know, I gotta leave." And she thanked me and said, "Honestly, you did the best you could do." And I was I helping someone? So they always talk of these, again, this is rumored from what I heard. See, because I was going through this for years, but it's rumored that when you awaken, spirits and energy will call you into different dimensions to help on those planes of existence. And wherever I was in this apartment, it looked slightly similar to Earth, but not exactly. Like there was something like off kilter about it. But nonetheless, she thanked me and said, you did the best you could do. And I was like, for what? For who? And she just said, for us. And I was like, okay, maybe I was helping a family. Maybe I was helping. I don't know, because who knows? I don't know. But they were letting me stay, whatever it was. I'm not sure. But I said, oh, it's okay. And when I pulled up my phone showed Lunar Was Lost, like my channel in my Instagram. And I guess that was my method of transporting, because then I said like to her that I'm like hopping, or I'm going to travel this way, or this is how I travel, or this, like, it was like a cell phone teleport, which, man, I haven't seen a cell phone teleport in I don't know how long. It had to be like from a show I seen from a kid or just something, but I just like focus on the image of my face, and it's like my consciousness got pulled into the phone. I felt the shaking, the shuddering and everything. And I go into the phone, and then when I opened my eyes, I was where I am right now, set up, room, everything. And I couldn't tell the difference between it being real and fake. The handpan dude was playing on the screen, Martin, and I was like, am I still asleep? Because when I went into the phone, that's when I said, I would say I became lucid, because the guy was becoming very irate in the dream. So I just said, all right, I'm just leaving. And I got up out of my chair and turned off my light. And funny enough, my light was off when I actually woke up from all of this. But I turned my light off in the dream, and the pan was still going crazy. He was doom, 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 doom. I love watching that YouTube channel. But I look around and I'm like, okay, these surroundings I'm not awake yet, but it's okay because I asked to be here. So, I'm vibing. I hear someone else in the dream telling me that, okay, they're getting closer. They're hearing the frequency. And I'm like, they're talking about me. So I end up looking around and I'm like, wow, this is what reality looks like, huh? Like, I'm aware at this point. I'm like, so this is the layer of how things look when you're not awake. Like, whatever state I'm in right now is very, very psychedelic. This is what I'm saying to myself in the dream. So then I go upstairs, and as I'm going upstairs, I feel this sensation of fear, or of being watched. And funny enough, as I drifted off into this meditation, I had that. I was like feeling odd because I made the room completely dark, and I was like, I used to fear the dark, but I don't feel the dark anymore. But this weird sensation came back of like clicking and noises, and the upstairs creaking, that I got like weirded out before I went into this meditation. But so now I'm in the second layer of the dream, where I thought I transported to a place where I'm awake. Now I feel like if you fully wake up, you wake up out of the dream, of course. Even when you're lucid, there's a point that you can be lucid to where you're still you have your consciousness with you. But if you realize too much, you're going to wake up, which is pretty cool, because it's this odd state of being able to stay in a dream and decide when to go back. But you're not no longer, I guess the fear is gone to the point where you don't have to wake up. But so I end up going upstairs in my house, and I go through the door. And when I look back at a door, I left the door open, and wow, this is giving me chills, because it was so crazy how real this was, because this is actually happening in a different dimension wherever I was. But I love how it happened, because it showed me that I finally undressed another layer of myself. Remember, I went in with the question asking what I needed to unpack, but I go all the way up the stairs. I open the door. I leave the door open. this hand crawls out and closes the door. And I said, what the hell? And I'm getting chills right now as I'm saying this to y'all. When I look back, a face leans from the door. And I said, oh man, this is about to be sleep paralysis. Like, I got sleep paralysis. No. I was like, shit. I said, because the thing about sleep paralysis, at least for me, and why I'm grateful for it, is it taught me to face the fear. You cannot force yourself awake. Usually sleep paralysis causes you to see whatever your imagination makes, and then it wakes you up after. So you can see it for a split second sometimes. So then this time I said, wait, I asked myself what I needed to face. And I said, either way, I'm going to have to face this. So this is when I knew I took off a level of fear that's deeper in my subconscious. But the entity or whatever came, and I seen my mom and my aunt clear as day. The dream was actually very, very vivid when it came to faces. Yeah, I was getting vivid and vague mixed up again, but their faces were completely vivid. It was like 4K. It looked so, the only part of the dream that wasn't really hazy. The house itself was hazy, but everything looked so off that I ran out to the porch to get some air, and I leaned over the porch and I breathed in. I was, took a deep breath. I was, and it was autumn. Funny enough, right now it's July and there's no orange leaves and everything all over the ground. So I knew that this dream was showing me something in the future, showing me a future state of, but it's also now, like, I conquered something that is going to help me for the fall. So then when I turn back and look at them, they asked me, am I okay? And I said, nah, this isn't real. Like, I said, nah, this isn't real. Like, y'all aren't even real. I'm not. And what's funny is this almost feels like it's playing off from a dream I had weeks ago. So if you ever heard someone say that they've had dreams where they can go to sleep and pick it up like the next day, I've been through all of that. This is actually probably another example of that, because I had a dream before this, like maybe a few days ago or a week ago. No, maybe a few days ago, where I was in a dream looking at my hands telling someone, yo, this isn't us. This isn't me. Like, where are we right now? So in this, I did the same thing. I was like, yo, but I was laughing. I was like, yo, there's an entity following me, and I don't think you guys can see it. And they said, I looked back over their shoulder and it would teleport kind of close and far. And I said, yo, it's that. Can y'all see that? Like, can you see it? It was like it. I was like, can y'all see it? And they were like, they were like, yes and no. Like, they could perceive it, right? But again, nothing is happening. That's what I had to realize. So then at one moment I said to myself, I'm going to turn my head away and turn back, and it's going to be right here. It's going to be right in front of them. And I turned my head to the right in the dream, and I turned back and it's right in front of me. And no jump scare. I didn't get scared. I looked at it and I said, you're me. And the bar from B.O.B.'s song played in my head, and it went, I looked death in the face and took off the mask, and I was, wow. And I pointed, and it's like I went to remove the mask, but they already did it for me. I pointed and they pulled off the mask, and it was a younger version of me. I was looking in the eyes of me as a young boy, and I was like, no way. My younger, like, it was me as a kid in a like a really weird clown outfit that was really horrifying for a dream. Because if y'all are hip to sleep paralysis, then you already know the types of shit that your mind can create. But it was me on the shoulders of another boy who had like locks, which I'm thinking that had to be Ron, my best friend, because everyone calls us twins in a past life. So it had to be Ron because he looks similar to me. And oh man, guys, let me tell y'all about this. It was so freeing. Like, when I took it off, I laughed and I was like, oh, you're me. Like, and I always hear of, you enter, like, well, not, okay, so I know this, but not always hear, but I hear that basically what it is through all these traumas and everything, we suppressed the child self. Like, it's like the child hid and ran under the bed, right? And we suppressed the child self. But for me, that moment was like revealing the very thing that became scary or had to wear the fear or wear it in a way, if that's making sense, that I undressed it and the child came back out. So it's showing me, I got the urge to want to go right back into a meditation after that. But then I realized this is exactly what I needed for part 7. This is exactly what I needed before part 8, because then it puts part 8 in perspective, more of like, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I know my stuff, and just go figure out your stuff. But I love it, because that just showed this happened after part 8. So everything I say in part 8 in this video you're going to see was shot before. This was a day before. So it's funny that these are still happening, these moments, but I love it. So it was my kid self kind of being like, yo, you're like, I'm coming back. You're giving me the love, because they had us, the kid on the right had a serious face, but he felt warm and funny. And me, I had like a little smirk. Like I had like a golden glow. Like it was golden, like a golden child. And I was like, holy shit. Like, and when I realized that, I woke up again in another layer of the dream. And what's funny is I think this is the layer that started to condense me back in my body. Because let me explain this. So I woke up and I heard the hand pan, but on the video, it had just ended. So what I'm seeing in my point of view, if I can paint the picture for you, is that I'm in my gaming chair. I'm in the chair you see me in new videos now. I'm in it and I'm laid back in the way that I laid back to go into the meditation, but my whole body is paralyzed. So I'm like, oh shit, and my head was stuck to the right. And I'm like, damn, am I paralyzed? Like, no way. And then I immediately said to myself, oh, I get it. Thought forms created bodies. Like, I'm just getting all this knowledge and understanding it. And I'm like, I'm even understanding how people who are told they will never walk again, this is a big claim, but, you know, I'm not a medical practitioner, but how they talk about how they willed, like they just didn't accept that as a reality, because that's manifestation. So I was in my body paralyzed, and I was like, is this what it feels like to be paralyzed? So then my mind didn't get fearful. It didn't start racing. I said to myself, well, I guess if I'm paralyzed, all I really need is my mouth to move so I can like tell somebody to come get me. Cause that was the only thought that popped up. Like, yo, I can't move. Like I'm gonna need somebody to come. Like, and I was just thinking about, damn, how am I gonna eat? How am I going to do this? I thought about simple things. I didn't let my mind go all like, oh, I'm paralyzed, and start freaking out, because one, I would have woke up and probably failed the test of why I was having this dream, or 3 layers of it. But no, I sat there and I said, hang on. And I took my mind back and I said, my body is paralyzed, but if thought form creates everything, then I'm just in a rested state right now. You don't need the body. Like, your soul leaves the body. And I said the body is you, like your soul's driving the body. You know, vice versa. Your body is inside your soul, but your soul is also the thing driving the body. And then it has a biologic structure to it. So then I said, okay, you know what? Let me try this. And I said, my left arm is moving. My right arm is free. It's all unlocked. It's unlocked. It's unlocked. And literally, my whole body moved. Like, I took my left arm, and I remember this motion so smooth. I placed it on my jaw that was looking right and turned my head back into the center. Like, I was like putting the keys back into the car. I was like a transformer. And it was so funny, because when I locked my head back in place, I felt my body like it's like my soul was out my body. But I was the awareness behind that. And I felt like my whole spine and what felt like an energy surging up my back come together and condense back into my body. And I woke up. And there you go. And I woke up. And that's why I tell you all the things I do in this video, because it's you. Like, we're hopping dimensions. Like, we do things. And the thing is what I also, the insight I gained after having this dream, but it wasn't a dream, because this is all the dream. This is all the dream. Like, my mind doesn't even allow me to think that was different. That, like, part of my mind is like, yo, I was actually there helping people in other dimensions, so I'm still on the right path of remembering myself and remembering love. But unbutton, like, my favorite words that people say to not use, but I still articulate myself, so I'm gonna use them forever. It feels good. I love saying that. It's so freeing. We created a place where language. Oh man, I don't want to get deep. See, because I'm gonna go on a different train of thought. So let me stay here. But yeah, I got to see myself smiling as a kid, which made me realize I'm doing right. I'm going inside. Like literally, I'm going. And I may have to just go again. Which is crazy because sometimes it feels like I'm capped for a day. Sometimes when I go that deep in meditation, it feels like I go deep, like hella deep, to where like I can't. Yeah, I don't know. I go hella deep, and that's it. This. I'm like, all right. Now that I come back and wake up, my consciousness is like, all right, that was a lot, bud. Let's take a break. But I'm like, no, I want to keep going to levels like that because I've already manifested in the physical. So if these are the barriers I have to break down, imagine what I would be doing. Like, yeah. And when I woke up out of that, all I could do was stare at my hands and feel that buzzing that I talked about. I don't know if I talked about it in an earlier part, but like I said, we're light beings, bro. Like we're light beings. Like, yeah, man. That's it. That's all I can really say. We're light beings, and there's just another example for you of being light beings. Because I'm really starting to realize love, happiness, and fear, all of it is really encased in us. And I really learned this, during March. But for those of you who know about March, but I'm telling you, when I tell you guys these things, all the keys and tools are within you. The keys to the universe are within you. They're within you. And that's all I like. That's all you like. Do what you need to do, whether it be mantras, therapy, this, meditation. But I'm telling you right now, with not needing, because when I tried therapy, I was instantly called the indigo child. Like literally, I talked to two therapists that said the same thing. That have you ever heard of an indigo child? And that shit blew my mind. That's when I was in Maryland. That shit blew my mind. They just straight up told me I'm an indigo child. Like, have you ever heard of an indigo child? And I was like, wow. And I was back in Maryland, maybe, I think 19 or 20. Had to be 19 or 20. 19, yeah. Because 18? Yeah, 18 and 19. So that's what it is. We are light beings. We are not the body. And the astral plane, I hear a lot of people say, is still connected to this realm. But I'm telling you right now, you're a lot better getting locked in the astral plane than you are here. But there are some, because this is the densest. This is one of the lowest, the third dimension. But the thing about it is here, it can feel like a lot is going on. But if you do the spiritual work, it breaks a lot of it down to where if your dreams are looking similar to what I just told you, where you're freeing yourself, entities are like, yes, and just like you're going in the right direction and doing that, you're going in the right direction because all of these worlds are within. So that's a really good sign that you're doing the work. To me, being indigenous and all this to do with dreams and being someone who can kind of explain dreams and share, I feel like that's part of my purpose to share my dreams that I have, because my dreams directly correlate to my emotional states when I'm awake. I don't let anything bother me, and it's a genuine thing, not just saying, oh no, I don't care if this happens or whatever. No, like genuinely don't mind. Like I'm just grateful. Yeah. I guess that's really it. We're golden beings, man. We're light beings. We're not the body. I think that's it. That was a really cool. I think after this, I'm going to take another break and I want to meditate again because I want to feel that again. So I'm going to do that again. Much love and Moonlight. Stay easy, and I will see you. Technically, from this point, I will see you in part 9 because I had already done part 8. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in part 9.